We're back for video number 2 in our setup of our new Epson SureColor F570. What we want to do in this video is talk about how to load paper. The good news is I think it's quite simple. So technically this printer has 3 paper sources. Number 1 is the roll. Number 2 is what Epson calls an auto sheet feeder. And number 3 is what I call a banner mode. I think they call it sheet mode, but sheet mode just isn't such a good word to describe it. 99% of all sublimators are going to use the roll and the cut sheet. Roll probably will be the predominant source. The magic of this printer is that you can install a roll of paper and install cut sheet at the same time and seamlessly switch back and forth. So it's a really cool feature.
It's really neat.
There are many things that you'll want to sublimate that are probably done better with a rectangular piece of paper than on a roll. The printer seems to support a couple of different sizes of paper, but is not incredibly flexible. In other words, it's not like some of the other printers where we can go extremely narrow. 11 by 17, letter size, those kinds of things. All right, so let's go ahead and load the, let's take you on a little tour. How about that?
That sounds good.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the top cover, and you got a little blue lever right here that opens the entire assembly. Now these are spindles. That's going to be where the roll paper is placed on. All right, so this is a paper spindle. What is unique about this printer is this is a 2-inch spindle. The majority of printers out there are 3 inches, so when you go to buy paper, you must buy paper that has a 2-inch spindle. And so the standard pretty much is 3-inch. This printer, because of its compact size, does use a 2-inch spindle. One side of this is fixed, the other side moves, so you can mount narrower rolls of paper. I do not know exactly what the minimum roll size would be, but Epson includes with the printer a 24-inch roll and a 17-inch roll. Undoubtedly, folks like us will come out with narrow rolls. So what we're going to do is pull this off, and what we're going to do is slide the roll of paper on. And of course, all paper generally has a print side, and so we're going to slide in here, ensuring that the paper is rolled correctly. It is important that it be flush like that, and then we're going to put this spindle on. Paper loading is actually something that becomes very easy. Next is we'll go ahead and remove the packing tape. Okay, so we would put it in here, of course with the ability for the paper to face outward here, so that's it. Generally speaking, if I had a knife, or give me a pair of scissors, and if you'll cut that for me, Sprite.
You want to cut this piece off as well?
Absolutely. Great call there. This printer, like printers of this class, has a horizontal cutter. Epson calls it a rotary cutter, but sometimes people misinterpret what a rotary cutter is. And so what we're going to do is feed it in, and what we should do is feed it in till we hear a beep.
There we go.
Okay, so at this stage we're going to close this, and what do we do next, Miss Sprite?
On the display screen, it's asking for the paper type. So it has general purpose or textile, and then
We are at general purpose.
okay, and then the paper remaining is off.
Okay. And so this printer does have the ability to keep up with the amount of paper you have used by telling it you put in a new roll. Typically, the diameter of the place where the paper is would give you a typical roll length of 100 feet. Okay? So we're going to just Typically what the printer is doing is it's verifying the width of it. It's going to move it into the printer so that it can verify the paper is moving evenly through the printer, that it's not skewing. And it will usually do this back and forth to verify that it understands where the edge of the paper is. So that leading edge, it's helpful to cut it nice and straight.
I tried. And there we go. There's our cool roll cutter. Nice.
And last, we're going to go in and print a nozzle check from the printer. And we're going to go into Settings and Print Status, and we'll just do a Print Status configuration page. I think that'll be fun.
I love how easy it is to use. It's very, very user-friendly.
I love the tilt because obviously, depending on what your angle of viewing is, it makes it simple. Another thing to talk about as far as my recommendation is that from a power point of view, that you purchase a small UPS with built-in surge protector. UPSs have a battery inside them and can handle short power outages. Plus, they usually have a little bit better surge protector. So for computers, for inkjet printers, UPSs are, I think, very helpful. You would not ever plug a laser printer or a heat press into a UPS. UPSs generally have two sides to them, a surge and then a surge plus battery, but I would just not plug it in, period, because you don't want to accidentally mix it up.
Well, it printed really well.
It is good. So we've got our test page here telling us about the printer, its firmware, things like that. And so we have completed our step 2, and that is, well, we've got to load the cut sheet. Excuse me.
That's right.
Got ahead of myself here. All right, so had a little bit of a page 2. So the next step we want to do is show you how to load the cut sheet. We're going to open our lid again, and this is the cut sheet paper tray here. Epson calls it auto sheet feeder, and these right here adjust the width of the paper. Essentially, there's not much selection. It's either all the way out or in for like letter, and looks like A4. A4 is the European international versions of our letter size. So on the paper, this is our die-trans paper. It's important that you realize which side is the print side. This is the brighter white side. This is not. So you would want to print on the bright white side. And so we can load it in here. This tray, from what I can tell from the documentation, holds 50 sheets, and it's asked us which size, what type.
Configuration status sheet.
Go ahead. Let's see.
And let's print it. All right.
We'll see what paper tray it pulls it from. It appears to be pulling from the cut sheet.
That is fantastic. That's amazing. How revolutionary.
Obviously, when you're doing these things for real, could be the nozzle check, any test pages, there's not a good reason to use sublimation paper for those, unless you're going to sublimate the nozzle check. And ultimately, sublimation the nozzle check is one of those kind of things I like to do. It gives me a clear understanding that we're printing with sublimation ink.
That's right, because sometimes those yellows don't like to show up on the page, but they'll show up on the metal.
It is true. Yellow is one of the more difficult colors to see visually. Interestingly enough, yellow is also the most powerful color generally in sublimation. So if you see a lot of yellow in your print, generally that's a problem. Well, it all looks good, Ms. Sprite. And so with that, we're going to conclude the second of our series of videos